Happy Friday, room 204. It is Friday, April 3rd, and even though we don't have opening day this year, we can still talk about and celebrate one of our favorite things here in Boston, baseball. And joining me today is my special guest, Braden, from room 204. I'd like to thank him. He did a ton of work on this week's, or today's fun facts on baseball. So thank you, Braden, for your help. And let's get going, learning and talking about baseball. So the history of baseball. Baseball is a very much an American sport, right? And it's pretty new if we think about games in general. So references to games resembling baseball in the United States date back to the 18th century, so that's the 1700s. Most believe that baseball comes from two English games, rounders, which is a children's game brought to New England by the earliest colonists, and cricket, which is a British game where you kind of use like a bat and there's a ball, and there's not really bases, but there's kind of a back and forth running score system. So that's where people think that the game of baseball comes from. By the late 1700s, baseball-like games were being played on schoolyards and college campuses around the country. They became even more popular in cities where people lived closer together and could form teams based on neighborhoods. So if you think about just kind of like the layout and what's needed to make a baseball team, you need a lot of people. So if everyone is living on a farm and really spaced out, team sports are kind of tricky, right? Just because you don't have enough people you need to play the game. But when people started moving into cities like Boston, and people lived closer together, they had more people. And these first early baseball teams were very much neighborhood teams, right? So you had maybe the Italian part of Boston and the Irish part of Boston, and those neighborhoods would come together and form teams, and those teams would compete in some friendly competition. By September 1845, a group of New York City men founded the New York Knickerbocker Baseball Club. One of them, who was a firefighter and a banker, Alexander Joy Cartwright, would make a new set of rules that would become the rules for modern baseball. So he kind of got together with his team, the New York Knickerbocker Baseball Club, and they wrote up some rules. And the rules that they decided upon were that baseball, this game of baseball, would be played on a diamond-shaped infield, that there would be foul lines, so you couldn't just hit the ball wherever you wanted. There was kind of an in the game, and a three-strike rule. So that three-strike rule is crazy that didn't come around until 1845, because that's like the main rule in baseball, right? 3 strikes, you're out. We have songs about it. That's what we think of when we think of baseball. This picture was really cool that we found, and it kind of shows you the progression of baseballs throughout time. So we see one of the earlier baseballs in 1830, and this was made out of leather like they are now, and it would have been filled with a type of rubber tar. It was a lot heavier than baseballs are now. You can kind of see the progression, the stitching changes. We finally turned to that classic red stitching in the 1870s. We kind of get into the heyday of baseball when it becomes really popular in the 1920s, and then since 1998, the official Major League Baseball, the Rawlings baseball, or Rawlings, sorry if I said it wrong, that classic red stitching, the ball is lighter, right, and it can be hit farther. So what are the baseball rules? And thank you, Braden, for these. I've actually never played baseball. Baseball has 2 teams of 9 players. The fielding team's positions are made up of a pitcher, catcher, first baseman, second baseman, shortstop, third baseman, and 3 outfielders at left field, center field, and right field. So you have the fielding team, which is kind of defending the field. If you get 4 balls, it's a walk. 3 strike, it's a strikeout. So the hitting team will send a batter up to the plate, and they will try their best to hit the ball as far as they can to get around the bases. The game lasts for 9 innings, with each team alternating between batting and fielding in each inning. So 1 inning will be the team will bat, and then the team will field, and that will be 1 inning. So the teams will take turns playing each side of the field. The best baseball teams, and again, these are according to Braden, The New York Yankees have been the best team in the East Division for many years. The baseball scoreboard shows that the New York Yankees have won the World Series 27 times, the most recent time being in 2009. The Yankees had some of the greatest players of all time, such as Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, and Yogi Berra, I think. Some of these players also played for the Red Sox. If you're familiar with the Babe Ruth curse, our kind of favorite rivalry in Boston is this Red Sox-Yankees rivalry. And although I hate the Yankees, they are a very good baseball team, and they've had some excellent baseball players come through. The Red Sox, actually, we did not win for a really long time. More recently, we've gotten some better players and some better luck, and we have gotten some World Series in our city as well. The oldest baseball stadiums. Fenway Park is the oldest Major League Baseball stadium and has been the home of the Boston Red Sox since it opened in 1912. That's crazy, so over 100 years old. The Red Sox played their first game in the stadium on April 20th, 1912 against the New York Highlanders, eventually renamed the Yankees. So our first game was with the team that would become our biggest rival, which is neat. And the Red Sox actually won that game. In the history of the Red Sox, we're a team that started with really good luck, and then we had kind of a down period, or a slump, as they call it in baseball, and now we're kind of back in our resurgence and winning again and getting really good players. So it's an exciting time to be in Boston and to be a baseball fan. Best baseball players. So Braden's favorite baseball player is Mike Trout, born on August 7th, 1991. Oh, I'm not sure if it's your favorite, Braden, but according to you, it's the best. And he's an American professional baseball center fielder for the Los Angeles Angels of Major League Baseball. Trout is an 8-time MLB All-Star, 3-time American League Most Valuable Player, that's MVP, winning the award in 2014, 16, and 19. Wow. And he finished second for MVP in 2012, 13, 15, and 18. So he's really good, and the other players think so. And is a 7-time winner of the Silver Slugger Award. Wow, those are incredible statistics. So he is certainly a fantastic player, Mike Trout. My favorite things about baseball. So when I think of baseball, these are the things that make me really excited and really happy. Going to Fenway and singing Sweet Caroline. Da, da, da. Number 2, hot dogs and peanuts. I love going to Fenway and getting a Fenway Frank and a bag of Boston Red Sox peanuts. They make a mess, but they're so good. Growing up in Boston and being a lifelong Red Sox fan, so I was born in southern New Hampshire, and I've been going to Red Sox games since I was little. Both of my parents are huge Red Sox fans. Even my grandmother, Yaya, is a really big Red Sox fan. So it's just something that my family really enjoys doing together and celebrating. And weeping when we lose. Number 4, being in the city when the Sox won the World Series. So I was actually in college. I think I was a sophomore in college when the Red Sox won their first World Series in a really long time, and it was incredible. We've kind of gotten used to winning things now, right? Because the Celtics are really good, the Pats are good, the Bruins are really good, the Red Sox are really good. But for a long time growing up, Boston teams were not good, and we didn't win a lot. So I remember being in college when the Red Sox won that World Series, and it was out of control. The parade was insane. I've never seen so many people outside on the side of the street. It was actually a really rainy day, and it didn't even matter. That was just a really exciting memory that I have. And number 5, Big Papi, David Ortiz. He had a great personality. He was just kind of a big member of the Boston Red Sox and kind of got us through some really hard times as a city. He just had this really great sparkly personality that was really fun to cheer for. So those are my favorite things about baseball. Braden's favorite things about baseball. His favorite thing about baseball is having fun and playing with his teammates. So Braden plays baseball, and he's a really good baseball player. So he loves playing the game and actually playing with his teammates. His favorite position is shortstop, and he likes batting 4th in the lineup. And number 3, the food. I agree. The food in baseball is just so good. And whether or not that's a Fenway Frank at Fenway Park or just kind of, the candy and snacks they sell at Little League games, it's just kind of fun to have a sweet treat while you're playing or watching. Some suggested activities when learning or thinking about baseball: go outside and play catch. or baseball if you have the room, depending on how big your yard is or whether you live next to an open space. I know it's kind of hard right now because we can't really be with people and you probably can't get a team together, but playing catch is a really simple thing that you can either do by yourself, kind of throw it off against a wall, or maybe one or two other people in your family. Yeah, so just go outside, get some fresh air. Watch a baseball movie. There are tons of really good, awesome, funny kids movies about baseball. Two of my favorite are The Sandlot and Rookie of the Year. A lot of these movies are free online now because they're kind of old. They've come out with some good ones recently too, so check those out. Read a book about baseball. Again, I linked the Amazon list of the bestseller children's books about baseball right now. Make a baseball craft. I linked some fun baseball crafts as well as some baseball origami. You can make a cool paper baseball or even a baseball hat that I thought was neat. And some baseball coloring pages. I know, especially on a day like this where it's kind of rainy, sometimes you just like to chill out and color and enjoy something like that. So those are some suggested activities. And my sources today. Braden was such a big source today. He made most of this presentation. So again, a huge shout out and thank you to him. History.com has some cool resources. MLB.com, if you want to take a tour of Fenway Park, they have virtual tours right now of all the baseball stadiums. Wikipedia for both Fenway and baseball. Just because we can't watch live baseball right now, you can still play. You can still watch some of the exciting highlights from games in the past. I know it's a bummer that April is baseball month in Boston and we can't have it this year, but just because we can't have it doesn't mean that we can't have it eventually and that in the future we can still really enjoy this amazing sport. So thank you for joining me today as we talk about baseball. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Thank you again, Braden, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.